Why is the smartest way to buy a luxury sedan in 2026 to let somebody else buy it first? In 1990, a Mercedes-Benz S-Class sold new for $65,000 and was worth $30,000 a decade later. The BMW 7 Series, the Lexus LS400, the Audi A8, the Jaguar XJ, and the Cadillac Eldorado all followed the same predictable curve. In 2026, the new S-Class sells for $115,000 and is worth $65,000 in 3 years. The predictable resale, the value retention, the logic of buying new, all gone. What happened is not a story of luxury cars becoming worse. It is a story of luxury cars becoming so expensive new and depreciating so aggressively in the first 3 years that the original new buyer is now subsidizing the used buyer who waits for them. The first of the 6 is the one car among them whose owners almost universally agree they would buy again. They would just buy it used. Before we continue, check the link in the description below to get your used car buying guide and avoid getting scammed. Car number 1, the Lexus LS460 and LS500. The Lexus LS460 launched in 2007 as the 4th generation of the Lexus flagship sedan. The car was the successor to the LS430, which itself had succeeded the original LS400 that founded the Lexus brand in 1989. The LS460 continued in production through 2017 across 2 facelift cycles, after which it was replaced by the current LS500 for the 2018 model year. The lineage matters because the LS line is, by any documented measure, the most consequential single nameplate in modern Japanese luxury history. The original LS400, launched in September of 1989 at $35,000, was the car that established that a Japanese manufacturer could build a luxury sedan competitive with Mercedes-Benz and BMW at approximately half the price. The brand reputation that the original car established carried forward in measurable ways into every Lexus product that followed. The LS460 is the direct beneficiary of that founding investment. It was engineered by the same Tahara plant team that had built the original LS400, using the same engineering discipline and the same obsession with refinement that defined the brand from its first model. The LS460's most documented engineering distinction is that it was the first production passenger car in the world to be offered with an 8-speed automatic transmission. The Aisin AA80E transmission, designated the TL80SN by Aisin and developed jointly with Toyota Engineering, debuted on the 2007 LS460 as the world's first 8-speed automatic for any longitudinally mounted passenger car engine. Every modern luxury sedan and every modern automatic transmission performance car traces its multi-speed automatic lineage to that 2007 Lexus. Both generations are exceptional candidates for the used buyer for documented and specific reasons. The depreciation curve on the Lexus LS is among the steepest in the luxury sedan segment, but the underlying car is among the most durable. A 2010 Lexus LS 600HL, which had an original sticker price of approximately $126,000 when new, can be purchased in the current used market for between $25,000 and $35,000, depending on mileage and condition. That represents a loss of approximately 80% of the original purchase price across approximately 15 years of ownership. The original buyer absorbed that loss. The used buyer in 2026 gets the benefit of a luxury sedan that, by every measurable engineering criterion, is comparable to a new luxury sedan at approximately 1/4 to 1/5 the original price. The engineering case for the LS460 is documented and consistent. The car uses Toyota's 1UR-FSE engine family, a 4.6-liter V8 that has proven across hundreds of thousands of documented owner miles to be one of the most durable production V8 engines ever manufactured. The transmission, an 8-speed automatic, was the first production 8-speed automatic transmission ever offered in a passenger car when the LS460 launched in 2007. The chassis was developed under Toyota's standard product engineering process at the Tahara Assembly Plant, the same facility that built the original LS400 and that has continued building Lexus flagship sedans through the present day. The customer service standard that defines the Lexus brand also applies to used LS owners. The Lexus dealer network is documented to provide consistent service quality, regardless of whether a vehicle is purchased new or used, which is a meaningful difference from some other luxury manufacturer experiences. Lexus dealers regularly service LS vehicles that are 15 or 20 years old, with parts availability that has been sustained across the entire production run of the LS line. The aftermarket community, organized primarily through Club Lexus and similar enthusiast forums, has documented every common LS service procedure and provided cost-effective alternatives to dealer service for owners willing to perform their own maintenance. The case for the used LS over the new LS is specifically documented in resale value analysis. A new 2025 Lexus LS500 carries a 5-year depreciation of approximately $51,000 on an original MSRP of approximately $82,000. The new buyer absorbs that loss directly. The used buyer purchasing a 3-year-old LS500 in 2026 can acquire what is essentially the same car at approximately 60% of the new price, with the steepest portion of the depreciation curve already absorbed by the previous owner. The car itself is mechanically identical. The warranty coverage is partially identical, with the certified pre-owned program at Lexus extending many of the new car warranty provisions into the used purchase. The cost of ownership beyond depreciation is also documented to favor the used buyer. Insurance costs on a used LS are significantly lower than on a new LS because the insured value is lower. Personal property tax obligations in states that assess vehicle taxes are lower. Even fuel costs are effectively lower, since the used LS often comes with a smaller financing burden that the new LS does not. The case is straightforward. A used Lexus LS460 or LS500 in good condition, with documented service history and reasonable mileage, is one of the most extraordinary value propositions in the entire luxury sedan market. The car is durable, the service network is supportive, the engineering quality is documented across the brand's 35-year history, and the price is approximately 1/3 to 1/5 what a new equivalent would cost. The new buyer pays for the privilege of being first. The used buyer gets the same car at a fraction of the price. The math is not close. Car number 2, the BMW 7 Series. The BMW 7 Series is the most extreme example of luxury sedan depreciation currently available in the American market. The car has a documented history of being engineered at the absolute limit of what the brand was capable of producing in each generation. The 7 Series lineage that runs from the E23 of 1977 through the current G70 generation has, across every one of its iterations, attempted to demonstrate what BMW could do when engineering ambition mattered more than commercial restraint. The E32 of 1986 was the first German production car to feature a V12 engine since the pre-war Maybach Zeppelin DS8 of 1939. The 750 Wafern that launched the V12 was also the first car in the world to be governed by BMW's self-imposed 250 km/h top speed limit, which became the German automotive industry standard for decades afterward. The E38 that followed in 1994 introduced electronic parking sensors, satellite navigation, and the first xenon high-intensity discharge headlights ever offered on a production car. Every 7 Series generation has been the testbed for technology that the rest of the industry adopted years later. Industry data tracking from IC Cars, US News and World Report, and CarBuzz independently confirm that the 7 Series consistently ranks as one of the worst depreciating production vehicles ever measured. A new 7 Series depreciates between 61 and 73% of its original value within 5 years of ownership, depending on the specific model and configuration. US News and World Report has documented the 7 Series at a 72.6% 5-year depreciation rate, which is the highest of any production vehicle currently tracked in their depreciation analysis. The electric i7 variant depreciates even faster, losing approximately 30% of its value in the first year of ownership and approximately 60 to 65% by the end of the 3rd year. These numbers, which are presented in industry trade press as evidence of why buyers should avoid new 7 Series purchases, are precisely why the used buyer should pay close attention. A 3-year-old 7 Series in the current 2026 market typically trades at approximately $60,000 on a vehicle that originally retailed for approximately $110,000 to $120,000. That represents a discount of approximately $50,000 on a vehicle that, mechanically and functionally, is essentially identical to a new equivalent. The buyer who purchases the 3-year-old 7 Series acquires the full BMW flagship experience, including the engineering content that the 7 Series is specifically designed to deliver, at approximately half the new car price. The engineering content is substantial. The current G70 generation 7 Series, which began production for the 2023 model year, offers a documented combination of chassis tuning, soundproofing, and electronic systems that places it directly in competition with the Mercedes-Benz S-Class and the Lexus LS500 at the flagship luxury sedan price point. The twin turbocharged inline-6 and V8 engines available across the trim range produce performance numbers that meet or exceed the German competitor specifications. The interior materials, electronics, and equipment levels match what buyers expect from a 6-figure luxury sedan. The reason the depreciation is so steep is documented and specific. The 7 Series is sold primarily through 3-year corporate lease arrangements to buyers and companies whose priority is the experience of driving the car rather than the long-term cost of owning it. When the 3-year leases terminate simultaneously, the wave of nearly identical 7 Series vehicles entering the used market produces an oversupply that pushes prices downward sharply. The buyers who would normally be in the market for a used flagship luxury sedan are also a smaller pool than the buyers in the market for new equivalents, because the used 7 Series carries an additional concern that the new buyer does not face. Maintenance costs on an out-of-warranty 7 Series have a documented history of being expensive. The combination of complex electronic systems, air suspension components, the iDrive entertainment system, and the engineering complexity that defines the modern 7 Series produces a maintenance cost profile that risk-averse buyers respond to by demanding steep purchase price discounts. The smart used buyer recognizes that this maintenance cost concern is the specific market force producing the value. A buyer willing to budget for the higher maintenance costs of a used 7 Series, or willing to purchase an extended warranty that covers the most expensive potential failures, captures the depreciation discount without proportionally absorbing the maintenance risk. The CarBuzz analysis of the 2023 7 Series specifically recommends the 3-year-old buy as the depreciation sweet spot, where the steepest portion of the depreciation curve has been absorbed by the original lessor and the remaining ownership period faces gradual rather than catastrophic depreciation. The case for the used 7 Series is straightforward, with one specific caveat. The car represents extraordinary value at the 3 to 5 year mark. The buyer who can afford the maintenance costs that come with a sophisticated German luxury sedan captures one of the best engineering experiences available in the modern automotive market at a fraction of the price the original buyer paid. The buyer who cannot afford or is not comfortable with the maintenance cost profile should consider the Lexus LS instead, where the maintenance risk is documented to be significantly lower. For the right buyer, the 7 Series at half its original price is a documented bargain that the luxury sedan market does not currently match elsewhere. Car number 3, the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. The Mercedes-Benz S-Class is the historical benchmark luxury sedan against which the entire industry is measured. Since the W126 generation of the 1980s, the S-Class has consistently defined what luxury sedans are supposed to be. The car has introduced or established essentially every safety technology that has subsequently become standard in the global automotive industry, from airbags to anti-lock braking to electronic stability control. The historical depth of the nameplate is part of what makes the depreciation reality so notable. The W126 of 1979 through 1991 is widely considered by automotive press retrospectives and by enthusiast communities to be the most over-engineered Mercedes-Benz ever produced. The car was developed during the period when Mercedes operated under the explicit corporate philosophy that engineering quality should be optimized regardless of cost. The result was a luxury sedan that, in many cases, remains in road-going condition 40 years after its production date. The W140 that followed it from 1991 through 1998 introduced double-paned glass, electric door closing assistance, and the first production rain-sensing wipers. The W220 of 1999 introduced the first production active body control suspension. The W221 of 2007 introduced the first night vision system in a production luxury sedan. Each generation has been a documented engineering investment at the absolute top of what Mercedes could accomplish in its era. The depreciation curve on the S-Class is, like the 7 Series, among the steepest in the segment. Industry data tracking from IC Cars confirms that a new S-Class depreciates approximately 55 to 59% of its original value within 5 years. Kelley Blue Book valuations on a 2023 S-Class document a 44% depreciation in just 3 years, with the car's value dropping from approximately $115,000 at new purchase to approximately $64,000 in the current used market. A 2016 S-Class, which originally sold for approximately $95,000 to $115,000 depending on configuration, now trades at approximately $16,000 to $25,000 depending on condition. A 2006 S500, which originally sold for approximately $75,000 to $80,000, now trades at approximately $5,000 in clean driver condition. The numbers are extraordinary. The reason they exist is, again, documented and specific. The S-Class is sold primarily to buyers who replace the car every 2 to 4 years, often through 3-year leases that produce a documented oversupply of used examples as those leases terminate. The maintenance costs on out-of-warranty S-Class examples are documented to be high, particularly on the air suspension systems and the complex electronic systems that distinguish the car from less sophisticated alternatives. The combination of oversupply and maintenance cost concern produces the depreciation curve that the industry has tracked for decades. The smart used buyer of an S-Class is acquiring at a fraction of the original purchase price the most thoroughly engineered luxury sedan in production. The W221 generation, produced from 2007 through 2013, is currently available in clean driver condition for between $15,000 and $25,000, depending on mileage and configuration. The W222 generation, produced from 2014 through 2020, is available for between $25,000 and $45,000. The current W223 generation, produced from 2021 through the present, is available in 3-year-old form for between $60,000 and $80,000 on cars that originally retailed in the $120,000 range. Each of these price points represents an extraordinary value for the engineering content that the S-Class delivers: the air suspension, the active body control, the driver assistance systems, the interior materials, the build quality. The S-Class is, by every relevant engineering measurement, the car that the entire luxury sedan industry has been trying to match since the W126. The opportunity to acquire the car at 1/3 to 1/5 its original retail price, with the most aggressive portion of the depreciation curve already absorbed by the previous owner, is one of the genuinely consequential value propositions in the contemporary used luxury car market. The same maintenance cost caveat that applies to the 7 Series applies to the S-Class. A used S-Class requires a buyer who is prepared for higher service costs than a Lexus LS owner would expect. The air suspension components on the W221 generation are known to require service at approximately 7 to 10 years of vehicle age, with replacement costs in the multi-$1,000 range. The electronic systems, while sophisticated, do experience component failures that can be expensive to diagnose and repair. The buyer who acquires a used S-Class at the value pricing the market provides has to budget for these costs as part of the ownership reality. For the buyer prepared to absorb those costs, the used S-Class is the most consequential single value proposition in the entire luxury sedan market. The car that the industry uses as the benchmark for what luxury means is, in its used form, available at prices that a new mainstream sedan buyer could afford with reasonable financing terms. Car number 4, the Cadillac CT6. The Cadillac CT6 was produced from the 2016 model year through the 2020 model year. The car was Cadillac's most ambitious flagship sedan since the original Sigma platform development, with engineering content that period press universally described as competitive with the German and Japanese flagship sedans the car was designed to challenge. The CT6 debuted at the 2015 New York International Auto Show as a 2016 model. The car carried specific historical weight as the first rear-wheel drive full-size Cadillac sedan since the original Fleetwood was discontinued in 1996, ending a 20-year period during which Cadillac's flagship sedans had been front-wheel drive variants of platform-shared General Motors architectures. The CT6 was also the first Cadillac to adopt the brand's modern alphanumeric naming convention, with CT standing for Cadillac Touring, and the number indicating the sedan's position in the hierarchy. Every modern Cadillac sedan and crossover, from the CT4 through the XT6, traces its naming convention to the CT6. The car's most documented technological distinction was Super Cruise, which launched on the CT6 in 2017 as the first true hands-free driving system available on any production vehicle anywhere in the world. The system used precision LiDAR mapping, a driver attention monitoring camera, GPS, radar, and cameras to enable hands-free highway driving on over 200,000 miles of mapped North American freeways. Period Press universally praised the system as a meaningful technological achievement, and Tesla's autopilot system, despite the marketing language used to describe it, did not allow genuine hands-free driving at the same time. The CT6 was, in 2017, the only car in the world that allowed a driver to legally take their hands off the steering wheel on a highway. In 2020, General Motors discontinued the CT6, along with most of its other sedan production. The Detroit Hamtramck assembly plant where the CT6 had been built was retooled for electric vehicle production, renamed Factory Zero, and assigned to the new GMC Hummer EV program. The CT6 has not been replaced in the North American Cadillac lineup. The Cadillac flagship sedan position is currently held by the CT5 Blackwing. which is a smaller and more performance-oriented vehicle than the CT6 was. The CT6 itself continues in production at the SAIC GM joint venture facility near Shanghai for the Chinese domestic market, but is no longer sold new in the United States. A specific final detail that Period Press has documented as the CT6's most consequential engineering investment was the 4.2-liter twin-turbocharged V8 engine, designated Blackwing, that powered the top-tier CT6V variant in 1919 and 2020. The Blackwing V8 was, by General Motors' own documentation, the most sophisticated V8 engine the company had ever produced, with each engine costing approximately $20,000 to manufacture. Only 915 CT6V units were built across the two production years, with 504 units in 2019 and 411 units in 2020. The engine has never been used in any other production vehicle. When General Motors discontinued the CT6, it discontinued the Blackwing V8 along with it. The discontinuation has produced a specific used market dynamic that the smart luxury sedan buyer can exploit. A 2017 CT6, which originally retailed for between $54,000 and $90,000 depending on configuration, currently trades at approximately $14,000 to $20,000 depending on mileage and condition. A 2019 CT6, which originally retailed for between $60,000 and $100,000, currently trades at approximately $20,000 to $30,000. A 2020 CT6 in the V-Sport or Platinum configurations, which originally retailed in the $80,000 to $100,000 range, currently trades at approximately $30,000 to $45,000. The 2020 CT6V, which originally retailed at approximately $95,000, currently trades at approximately $50,000. These prices represent depreciation rates between 49% and 73% across the CT6 production years. Kelley Blue Book explicitly compares the CT6's resale value unfavorably to the Lexus LS, noting that the Lexus retains significantly more of its original value across the same ownership period. The reason the comparison matters is that the CT6's depreciation is what produces its value as a used purchase, even though that depreciation is documented as evidence of the brand's weaker resale reputation. The engineering content of the CT6 is documented to be substantial. The car was built on Cadillac's Omega platform, which was a clean-sheet rear-wheel drive luxury sedan architecture developed specifically for the application. The engine options ranged from a turbocharged 4-cylinder through naturally aspirated V6s to a 4.2-liter twin-turbocharged V8 in the CT6V configuration. The vehicle offered Super Cruise, which was General Motors' semi-autonomous driving system and was the first hands-free highway driving system available on a production luxury sedan in the United States. The interior materials, the soundproofing, the chassis tuning, and the equipment loadout all met or exceeded the standards of the contemporary German competitors. The case for the used CT6 is documented and specific. The car is a Cadillac flagship at a fraction of any equivalent flagship sedan price. The discontinuation means that no new buyer is currently entering the market for a CT6, which keeps the used supply available without significant competition from new alternatives. The General Motors dealer network supports the car through its certified pre-owned program. Parts availability is supported through GM's broader dealer system and through Cadillac specialist communities. The specific buyer for the CT6 is a buyer who recognizes that the car was, when it was new, a genuinely competitive luxury sedan that simply did not survive General Motors' strategic decision to focus on SUV and crossover production. The buyer who acquires a used CT6 at the depressed prices the discontinuation has produced is buying the engineering investment that General Motors made, the design work that the Cadillac team completed, and the technology development that Super Cruise represented, at approximately 1/3 to 1/5 the original price. The CT6 is the most undervalued luxury sedan currently available in the American used market. The discontinuation that ended its production has produced a value proposition that the cars that replaced it in the new market cannot match at any equivalent price point. Car number 5, the Audi A8. The Audi A8 is the most aggressive depreciator of the six, with documented 5-year depreciation rates between 62% and 68% across the production line. The depreciation is paradoxical because the A8 is also the car with the most documented engineering significance to the broader automotive industry. The original A8, designated D2, launched in 1994 at the Geneva Motor Show as the first mass-production passenger car in automotive history to be built on an all-aluminum body. The aluminum body structure, branded as the Audi Space Frame, or ASF, was the result of 12 years of development beginning in 1982, when then Audi CEO Ferdinand Piëch signed a development contract with Alcoa, the Aluminum Company of America, to engineer a luxury sedan body that would weigh approximately 40% less than an equivalent steel structure. The total development cost for the original ASF program is documented at approximately $700 million. The program produced over 40 new patents. The completed aluminum body of the original A8 weighed only 249 kilograms, less than 550 pounds, in a car that was over 5 meters long. The original A8 debuted in 1993 at the Frankfurt Motor Show as the ASF concept, displayed in unpainted polished aluminum so that the audience could see what the body was made of. The car was described in Audi's launch marketing as gleaming like silver. Period press response was extraordinary because no other manufacturer had attempted aluminum body production at any meaningful volume. The ASF technology that the original A8 introduced has subsequently been used in every Audi A8 generation. The Audi A2 compact car, the Audi R8 supercar, and as influence on the broader automotive industry's adoption of aluminum and mixed material body construction. Every modern aluminum-bodied vehicle, from the current Ford F-150 to the Tesla Model S, traces its manufacturing approach to the Audi A8's 1994 debut, IC Car's depreciation. Tracking documents the Audi A8L at 62.6% 5-year depreciation, resulting in an average resale value of approximately $34,000 on cars that originally retailed in the $90,000 range. CarEdge depreciation modeling documents the related Audi S8 at approximately 64% 5-year depreciation. Kelley Blue Book places the 2022 A8 in the 75 to 100% percentile for depreciation among all sedans, with a current resale value of approximately $39,000 on a car that originally retailed for approximately $86,000. These numbers, like the 7 Series and the S-Class, reflect a market that has decided the new Audi A8 is not worth its sticker price relative to its long-term resale prospects. The buyer who purchases the used Audi A8 at depreciated pricing captures the engineering content without absorbing the depreciation loss. The engineering content is, by Audi standard, substantial. The current generation A8 was launched in 2018 and offers quattro all-wheel drive as standard sophisticated active suspension systems. The documented Audi interior quality the period press has consistently praised since the late 1990s, and a powertrain lineup that includes turbocharged V6 and V8 engines, plus the high-performance S8 variant, with its twin turbocharged V8 producing 563 horsepower. The case for the used A8 is documented and specific. The car is, by every measurable engineering criterion, competitive with the contemporary 7 Series and S-Class at the flagship luxury sedan price point. The interior quality is among the best in the segment. The chassis tuning produces a driving experience that period road tests have documented as more engaging than the larger and more isolating Mercedes-Benz S-Class. The Quattro all-wheel drive system provides 4-season usability that some of the rear-wheel drive competitors do not match in northern climates. The maintenance cost concern that affects the 7 Series and the S-Class also applies to the A8. The car's complex electronic systems, the all-wheel drive components, and the engineering sophistication that distinguishes it from less ambitious vehicles all contribute to a maintenance cost profile that requires the used buyer to budget appropriately. Independent Audi specialist mechanics, who exist in significant numbers in most American luxury car markets, can perform routine maintenance and many repairs at significantly lower cost than the dealer network. The buyer who establishes a relationship with a competent independent Audi specialist captures the value of the used purchase without proportionally absorbing the maintenance cost. A 4-year-old A8 in good condition, with documented service history and reasonable mileage, currently trades at between $35,000 and $45,000, depending on configuration. The original buyer paid between $75,000 and $110,000, depending on options. The used buyer captures essentially the same car at less than half the original purchase price, with the steepest portion of the depreciation curve already absorbed by the original owner. The A8 is the most engaging to drive of the 6. For the buyer who values driving dynamics alongside luxury sedan refinement, the used A8 is the specific recommendation. The 7 Series offers superior straight-line refinement. The S-Class offers the historical benchmark luxury experience. The Lexus LS offers documented reliability. The CT6 offers the most aggressive value pricing. The Audi A8 offers the most driver-focused luxury sedan experience available in the contemporary used market at any price point. Car number 6, the Genesis G90. The Genesis G90 is the car most American luxury sedan buyers have never seriously considered. That is precisely why it deserves consideration. The G90 launched in 2017 as the flagship sedan of the Genesis brand, which Hyundai had spun off from its mainstream lineup in 2015 to compete directly with Lexus, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and the established luxury manufacturers. The car was a serious commercial bet. Hyundai had spent years developing the engineering content, the brand identity, and the dealer network to support a credible American luxury sedan launch. The G90 that resulted, by every measurable engineering criterion, was competitive with the contemporary BMW 7 Series, the Audi A8, and the Lexus LS at the flagship sedan price point. The G90 also carried specific historical weight as the successor to the Hyundai Equus, which had been Hyundai's earlier attempt to enter the American luxury sedan market between 2010 and 2016. The Equus had been a credible engineering product, but the Hyundai badge had been the commercial limitation. American luxury buyers had not been willing to pay luxury sedan prices for a vehicle wearing the same badge as the Hyundai Sonata. The Genesis brand launch was, in essence, Hyundai's recognition that the badge had been the problem, and that the engineering needed a different identity to succeed. The G90 was the flagship product that the new brand was built around. The American market response was lukewarm. Genesis had no luxury brand history. The American luxury buyer did not recognize the name. Dealer networks were thin in many regions. The G90 sold in modest volumes through its first generation, and continues to sell in modest volumes in its current second generation. The brand recognition problem that hurt new car sales is exactly what makes the used G90 such an extraordinary value proposition. Industry data tracking documents the Genesis G90 at approximately 58% 5-year depreciation, which places it squarely in the catastrophic depreciation category, alongside the 7 Series and the S-Class. Kelley Blue Book valuations on a 2017 G90, which originally retailed for approximately $70,000, place the current used market value at approximately $17,000. A 2022 G90, which originally retailed for between $76,000 and $80,000, currently trades at approximately $35,000. A 2023 second-generation G90, which originally retailed for approximately $89,000, currently trades at approximately $45,000. These prices represent depreciation rates between 40% and 70%, depending on model year. The reason the depreciation is so steep is documented and specific. The G90 has the same lease return dynamic that affects the German competitors, with the added factor of weaker brand recognition that reduces the pool of buyers willing to consider the used purchase. The result is a luxury sedan available at significantly below the prices that comparable Lexus, BMW, and Mercedes used examples command. The engineering case for the G90 is documented and competitive. The first-generation G90 offered a twin-turbocharged 3.3-liter V6 producing 365 horsepower, or a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8 producing 420 horsepower, paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission and rear-wheel or all-wheel drive. The current second-generation G90 offers a refined, twin-turbocharged V6 in standard and high-performance variants. The interior materials, the equipment loadout, the soundproofing, and the build quality all meet or exceed the contemporary German competitor standards. Kelley Blue Book documents owner reliability ratings of approximately 4.8 out of 5 across multiple model years, which is higher than the equivalent ratings for the 7 Series, the S-Class, or the A8. The Genesis warranty is the additional factor that makes the used G90 genuinely exceptional. The original new car warranty on the G90 includes 10 years or 100,000 miles of powertrain coverage, which transfers to subsequent owners under the original terms. A used buyer acquiring a 3 or 4-year-old G90 is acquiring a car with substantial remaining warranty coverage that extends well beyond what any German competitor offers. The G90 is the best-kept secret in the contemporary used luxury sedan market. The brand recognition problem that hurt new sales has produced used pricing that, for the buyer willing to drive a luxury sedan that does not carry a German or Japanese badge, is genuinely unmatched at the price point. The engineering content, the warranty coverage, the build quality, and the dealer support are all documented to be competitive with the established luxury manufacturers. The price is a fraction of what the established competitors command. For the buyer who values engineering content over brand prestige, the used G90 is one of the most defensible value purchases in the entire luxury sedan market. The 6 cars share one specific characteristic. Each was engineered to compete at the top of the luxury sedan market, and each can now be acquired at a fraction of the original price. The Lexus LS offers documented durability. The BMW 7 Series offers engineering ambition at a discount risk-averse buyers have abandoned. The Mercedes-Benz S-Class offers the historical benchmark luxury experience at 1/3 the original cost. The Cadillac CT6 offers the discontinued American flagship at the most aggressive pricing of the 6. The Audi A8 offers the most driver-focused experience. The Genesis G90 offers the engineering content of the established competitors at the best total value. With warranty coverage none of the others match. Each comes with the same caveat. Luxury sedans cost more to maintain than mainstream alternatives. The used buyer absorbs that cost in exchange for the depreciation discount. The math works for buyers who are prepared. For the prepared buyer, the case is straightforward. The new buyer pays the premium. The used buyer captures the engineering. The price difference is not small. It is the entire point. Before you go, check the link in the description to grab your used car buying guide and avoid getting scammed or overpaying. Trust me, this will help you a lot. Now, click on this next video to see the one American luxury sedan that defied the depreciation pattern entirely. The car that buyers loved precisely because it never changed, the Lincoln Town Car.